We're good to go. We're transmitting. All right, I call the May or pizza parking lot resolution. As of last month, we discussed some changes to the site plan, which were then added to the site plan, and as of the 16th were sent to us by Wesley. Warren or George, is there any comments or anything further we need on this? We're all set to go?
Yeah, I prefer the resolution, but I'm not sure I had the latest. What is the latest, site plan date?
The 16th.
Well, I don't change that to.
Same April. I was ready to put the things you talked about here, the proposed gate. And I thought not lighting though, right? We said not.
Correct.
What did we say? What do the notes say? No evidence of adverse effects of stormwater runoff and proposed gate. So then we eliminated the lighting. So they're not
Resolution.
there's only two notes.
Okay, then I had put three. That's what.
Yeah, they originally it had.
This was.
What's that?
That.
Yes, I stopped with only two things and the 16th as the day. All right, does any members have any questions or anything about this application? Otherwise, I'll go through reading resolutions.
I just, the resolutions should say. Like what Wesley put on the site plan. Proposed gate and or obstruction, because we didn't pigeonhole them into just putting a gate. Said just put something there,
Big rock.
a rock, a planter,
I believe I said artillery.
artillery.
The cannon.
All right, so by not putting the lighting in, does that mean if they get lights up, then they have to pay back?
Right, because it's not on the, it's not on the site plan. Why?
No, I'm just saying. Okay,
Is that how you?
yeah, no, that, I mean, I just. So, so they know that if, right, so if in 2 years from now, Jeff decides he wants to put lights out back, then he's gotta come back here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that was brought up at the public hearing was the lighting, people were
Okay,
concerned
yeah,
about.
okay. Yeah.
So
no,
they
I
said
just-
they didn't want
I
it.
just thought if it was.
They don't need it, they have.
Yeah, I don't know if Jeff's here or Wesley can talk to him. Right, they said they didn't want the lighting, right? The applicant's position is they didn't feel the need for lighting and don't want lighting in the park, extra lighting in the parking lot, correct?
Yeah. That's what I understood.
Oh.
Okay, no, just, I'm just saying, so.
I believe I removed that note.
Yeah, yes.
So now they have to come back.
Do you find that problematic?
No, well, I mean, but,
I mean,
no, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, no, it's fine.
No.
I don't find it. Just find more separate.
what is the language, gate or obstruction?
And or obstruction.
Call Claymore, yeah. Okay, so,
Staying in the proper theme of things.
amending. All right, so with that, I will read the resolution. Town of Pine Plains Planning Board Resolution approving site plan application for American Legion Post 426. Whereas the American Legion Post 426 is the owner of a parcel of land consisting of 0.47 acres located at 9 Main Street, Town of Pine Plains, tax ID number 134200687218383 3-225-0000, and whereas 199 Corporation is the owner of a parcel of land adjacent to the south of the American Legion property consisting of 0.48 acres having tax ID number 13420-6872-18-375-214, located at 2943-2947 Main Street in the town of Pine Plains, and whereas the American Legion property is improved by American Legion meeting building and blacktop and gravel parking, is improved by an American Legion meeting building and blacktop and gravel parking areas. And whereas the 199 Corporation property is improved by 2-story restaurant building and a 2-story frame building used as a bar and a gravel parking area. And whereas the 199 Corporation property is in need of additional parking for its property. And whereas the American Legion 199 Corporation have entered into a lease agreement providing in relevant part that 199 Corporation may install a gravel parking area on the American Legion property to be used in conjunction with the restaurant and bar operations on the 199 Corporation property, all as shown on a site plan map prepared for American Legion Post number 426 Inc. by Wesley B. Chase, land surveyor, dated March 13th, 2024. And whereas the parking area has already been instructed and is currently being used by the 199 Corporation in conjunction with the restaurant and bar operations, and whereas the American Legion has made application to the planning board pursuant to the provisions of Article 12 of the town zoning code for site plan approval to allow for the continued location and use of the parking area by 199 Corporation on the American Legion property. And whereas the application has been forwarded to the town's consulting engineer, George Smith, for his review and comments, which were included in a letter dated April 8th, 2024 to the planning board. And whereas the town engineer and the town board have conducted a site visit of the properties, and whereas the planning board has considered the criteria for decision-making for the site plan approval as set forth in 275-63 of the town code, and it is determined that the proposed site plan meets the criteria for approval as set forth in the section of the town code. And whereas the planning board has determined that this is a type 2 action under seeker and does not require environmental review, and whereas the planning board has determined that there is existing lighting at the location of the gravel parking area on the American Legion property. Wait. Is there existing lighting on the American Legion? It's not on the American Legion property, is it?
No.
Is it, do you mean to say that there's lighting on the property, that light, there's enough light in the area?
Yeah, and
Thought there was,
front.
but can say that there is sufficient
Like, the only
lighting.
light out there is the street light around the building. So,
Why don't we just say there's sufficient lighting?
Is
At the
existing
location
sufficient?
of the gravel parking here.
That sounds good. At the location of the ground parking area on the American Legion property. And that the parking area as constructed is suitable for purposes intended. And whereas the planning board conducted a public hearing on said application April 10th, 2024, and whereas the planning board has received the final site plan dated April 16th, 2024, with notes containing herein with regard to the stormwater runoff and proposed gate and or obstruction. And whereas the planning board closed the public hearing on April 10th, 2024. I just thought of something. And it's my fault for not reading this earlier today, if this is the problem. Warren, did we give waivers? We voted for waivers for these. Should we mention that in the resolution?
I don't remember, I didn't see it in the minutes, so I didn't put it in. Were there waivers?
Yes, we waived several things. We had a resolution, we did a verbal resolution. Tricia, is that not in the minutes from last one? The waivers that we voted on?
No, it's not, I mean, each one is not state individual. we talked about them, there's a generalization about them, but
that we voted for.
yeah,
Um. So we should have that in here, is that
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Um. So. How can we word
Do
this?
you remember what the waivers were?
I don't know if it's out of my head. There was like 6, right? It was, Wesley, do you remember what the waivers were?
I can forward you the email again. Or I can read them out if you care to. Pretty sure I gave Warren a copy at the last meeting.
No, you didn't. You-
Short that service here. I do not have them in my hands, Michael. It might take me a few minutes to get them.
Why don't we just say we're at planning board granted 6 waivers.
Well,
Including, and then we can just fill that in when we get to this.
alright, so whereas the planning board voted on and granted the following waivers. At the April 10th meeting. As reflected in the minutes, double edit, make sure that they're in there. We'll look at the video, we'll get,
I mean, that every waiver is not.
right, so we need to put them in. You can watch we have the video, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we ended up with, we were just gonna get a list from Leslie.
Is that what we said at the meeting? That was whatever was on that. Aye.
We didn't film that. Remember, didn't we
No,
have
we
trouble
filmed
that night?
No, we filmed it.
Oh.
There was one month where we couldn't broadcast it, but we filmed every,
That meeting.
even though we didn't broadcast it, it went up later on YouTube. Whichever meeting that was, I don't even remember if that was the last one. Oh, let's see here, Wesley. That would have come from your Gmail, Wes?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Hmm. Stupid search.
Okay, damn.
Well, someone was like, I know it was the 2 whatever what is the requirement, George, for the markings every so many feet? That was one. Elevation.
Yeah.
Let me just see here, let's see, change.
Can we just vote on it one next? For the matter, and there's still, there's nothing changes to the.
So I did, it was on 3/15.
On 3/15,
Yeah, 3/15, 2024.
Yeah, that's 50.
To planning board at Pine Plains, Michael's to deal. One PDF and one was Word document.
can you pull that up, please? I just want to make sure I don't want to just push it through without everyone being clear on what what we're saying we agreed to.
It's 3/15, so third from the bottom.
Are the Rangers still ahead?
That's the same.
No, go back,
It was third from the bottom.
third from the bottom there, American Legions. No, go to the, I don't think, is that,
You like this week.
yeah, maybe that is. Okay, yeah, this is it. So, everyone, let's look at this up on the screen here. Vicinity map, scale of 1 inch equals 2,000 feet.
all the color red items are requiring a variance
Oh,
or
I see.
acceptable to the application. All blue are items requiring a partial variance or classification from George. Also,
Not a variance, but a waiver.
just that's things that I talked about at that meeting that we wanted. I don't think George was at the first meeting.
No.
And then he addressed them in his letter.
So you're saying all the red ones were the things we waived?
You sorry, what was that?
The red ones are what we're waiving?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't feel all of it. My eyes. I'm not a young man. Yeah, it's
No, red is like not applicable, right?
right, not applicable or it doesn't, or I needed not applicable. The blue ones, we wanted to ask the engineer about 2 foot contours. And again, he said in the letter it was pretty flat, that we didn't need those. We didn't feel like we needed utilities of the sewage disposal, communication and energy. Existing uses and structures, including proximate location of well septic systems. We did put the septic for the Legion on there. And then, so the red was all things either non-applicable or what we asked for a variance. So,
Waiver.
and we waived.
Is there anything further down?
I mean, what we could do is probably attach that to the resolution. Could we just do that?
Everyone okay with that? All right. All right. So it'll be the planning board voted on and granted, the following waivers. At the April 10th hearing, as indicated by the attached email. So now therefore be it resolved that the planning board thereby approves the final site plan map prepared for American Legion Post number 426 dated April 10th, right? Dated April 16th, 2024, subject to the following conditions: that the American Legion comply with the site plan requirements as depicted on the site plan and set forth in the notes on the site plan map with regard to stormwater runoff and or gate, no, I'm sorry, end gate or obstruction. That the parking area be permitted on the American Legion property as set forth in said site plan map for the use by the lands and purposes of the 199 corporation. That the parking area be utilized in conjunction with the site plan map and the notes containing therein, and that all application escrow fees and other charges imposed on this application by the planning board and town code be paid prior to signing of the site plan by the planning board chairman. The planning board members vote is fine. So. It's gonna go by roll call vote. Oh, yeah, we're gonna need that. You're right.
Second.
So, motion by Dick, second by Ethan. 1, 2, 3. That's 6, 7. Okay, so Scott, you're not voting. Ethan,
Yes.
Vicky,
Yes.
Steve? Yes. Kate?
Yeah.
Al? Yes. I also vote aye. All right, the motion carried on a vote of 7-0. What is that, 15th?
Yes.
May 15th, 2024. Let me know if you have any questions on this script. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes. All right, next up on the agenda. Chiquetti Slaughterhouse. Site plan and special use permit at 424 Prospect Hill Road.
Jack brought these, it's the trail plan that.
Oh, did Warren get this and George?
So.
Okay, we don't. Hmm.
It's not things that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one more.
Not to get funny up.
Kid cats.
If I'm on the bench. You sit outside and then we just in the bullpen warming up in case somebody gets sick. You do have to. You never know.
Obviously, did we get the email of this?
Matt's online here, so if you have flesh, we can go over to him.
Matt, do you have the digital copy of this the full environmental assessment form?
Yeah, Trisha, you should have that in your inbox. I just sent it a little while ago.
All right, so it'll get out to us after the meeting. Okay, do you have,
So we
so,
have the updated plans and. Warren.
yes, please. Wow. How many pages is one, is this all one plan or is it multiple?
Matt,
Yeah, so there should be 5 sets there.
Fine.
Yeah, altogether,
How
I think there's
many-
7 pages in a set.
Hmm.
So we added on the site survey sheet is added in there as requested last time. The topo lines have also been added into the site plan. We added in the lighting plan sheet. We will added in a landscape plan sheet as well. And then I think Jack gave you the full environmental assessment form. And in the back of that package is also the ag data statement on the last page.
You do. Give us 1 second, Matt. We're just trying to get so everyone can be looking at it. This is for. You got one? Oh, you have the page numbers? That'll help. Yes. If you just turn this, that towards you, wait, what is this? Well, this is one. Yeah, the 3 minutes. No, this is.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
This is 3. I'm confused.
Here.
This house.
Page. And mine's a 3, I'm missing 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7. So I'm
Wait, it
missing-
starts at 3?
I'm missing, no, in this copy that you pulled up, I'm missing 1 and 2 and 4.
All right, so we'll just look at rates.
And I have 1, 5, 1, 2, and 4.
We're grinding gears tonight. Oh, yeah, it's all out of order.
All right, who's collating on this down?
Pretty good, man.
All right, so wait, I have 2 through. I have to split, what's the thing of 3?
What?
I have an extra 3. Can you come up? Oh.
Here, I'll have them somewhere. I just.
Do you need a 3? Here.
Got trouble with either, I'll say.
Once you have a set, you can share with Kate.
Okay, you want to share that with us? He probably has it on his computer already.
Did we get this in the minute? No,
I can't find.
it's just coming now. Just can't- Sorry, Matt, just give us a second here. We're just recollating this. Is that a full set?
Great.
We have this other phone, you know?
Oh, no, yes. So, larger conference.
This is one. Or no, this is not.
Yeah, that's a scope. Yeah. Right, so.
Oh, so we're doing, right?
Missing one and two.
What's this? What page is this? Don't seem to have a number. So it's missing, just take cut off the bottom.
In the bottom right hand corner.
Yes.
All the numbers.
Yeah, some of it's,
Just that one, I think it's stuff.
so what page is this normally?
There's two.
You have a set?
Now we have another three.
And you guys probably.
The last set. I'm sorry. We're thinking, I was thinking like, hey, Mo.
Not really a four.
Somebody needed to.
No, do you have an extra three?
Four.
There's two threes?
What?
Oh, wait.
Nice, man.
Oh, yeah.
Control.
All right, well, here you go.
Let's sit here.
Is an extra three? And
That's an extra.
I don't even know what page this is. The bottom got cut off. This is like, there was a Star Trek episode. Reagan and coming out. Which one had? Bad, give it some bad. I saw that, but.
Just.
Okay.
My presentation is something so far.
Everyone's happy.
No. All right, Matt, I think we're straightened out now.
Well, I apologize for the confusion there. We'll get it better next time there.
All right. So, all right, go ahead now, or start over, please.
All righty. So the first sheet stayed the same. That's the vicinity map. The second sheet is still the area map as required. The third sheet was added in. That is the site survey plan that you guys requested. So we added that into the set. So that's a survey of the parcel.
Jordan, if you want to
The
take.
four-
It's so. Yeah, let's see it over there. Yeah, man. I do really good job. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
So page 3 is the, what is, this is all explaining what the ovals are.
Yeah, so that's just the site survey. I mean, you guys asked for us to provide it, so we just added a
Okay.
sheet with the site survey.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's a survey of the parcel, the overall parcel.
Hmm.
The fourth sheet is the same, the significant habitats sheet. All right.
Okay.
The, the fifth sheet is the site plan with the topo added on there. In 2-foot contours. It didn't come out as good as I would have liked, but that's what the LiDAR had.
Stations. So it's on your.
Are these plantings on the?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
those
added we added plantings right behind the parcel, the house in the front there. That's also shown on landscape plan, but it's also here on the site plan. So we're trying to provide some screening for them. Not that it's very visible to start with, but we thought we'd be good neighbors and provide a screen.
And do you have a distance from that back corner of the proposed building to that property line? The closest point?
If you scaled it.
So we can scale it. It's probably somewhere around 300 to 350 feet, but we can scale that off. Give me a second.
It's 300, that's. Based on my.
That's the language. It's not there.
Mhm.
Yeah, if it's 515 for the road.
150. Right. Oh, that's 200. That's what I did. All right, what following directions?
Yeah, it's about 350 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so proceed.
Okay, so I mean, not too much else has changed on here. We added the lighting that's in the next page, but it's also on here. The site plan is pretty much as you guys saw it when you walked it. So the next sheet would be the lighting plan. So we're only planning to have lights in two places. One is at the road, at the sign, and we changed that to down lighting at the sign. And then in the back of the building, in the parking lot, we have 5 outdoor lights on poles, 3000 Kelvin. And you can see there the area that they cover and project for that back of the parking lot. The spec of the lighting is also on the sheet as well. Pretty straightforward. All dark sky compliant.
Are there 5 lights on the plan or 6?
There's 5.
1, 2, 3,
Your
4.
EAF says 6.
Well, 5 on the
You count
back.
the sign.
and 1 on
Yeah,
the-
we initially had 6, but we just reduced it to 5 to try to keep it down a little more. We consolidated.
So that needs to be changed.
Yeah, we can make that change.
And what's the electric line? Is it or the overhead line? Is it gonna be a buried line? So
It's going to be a buried line.
Is there a do you have a proposed sign here somewhere?
Yeah, out by the road, we got a sign there.
By that.
I mean,
Metal. Oh, a detail of it?
yeah, is there a detail of the sign?
We don't have one currently provided, but
5
yeah, we don't have a design on it yet.
So it's 3 by 5 by 5, and it's gonna be. Was the position marked on the map?
Yeah. Well,
Where do you show me?
right by the road.
Ah,
Little dash there.
so it's
I
gonna
would've
face
thought-
the road, or is it gonna face perpendicular to the road?
Perpendicular, it should.
Looks like
It's probably going to be perpendicular to the road. That's
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be perpendicular.
And it's 3 by 5 by 5. So that's the actual sign, right? So is it on posts or what is it gonna be?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll just be a 3 foot by 5 foot sign on posts. Max height is about 5 foot tall.
Including the post?
Yes.
3 foot high,
So the sign's gonna,
5
Matt,
foot
the
wide.
sign's gonna be 3 by 5,
top of the sign, 5 foot.
right? And then the posts will be outside that, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And the max height will be 5 foot. So the posts will be 5 foot out of the ground.
Sign.
So he said he didn't have
Yeah.
a design, so I.
Well, I'm just trying to clarify
design
so
on
the
the
board
sign.
understands, right?
the posts are not included in the 3x5 number.
So the
The
maximum
s-
height.
square footage of the sign is 15,
Right, and it's gonna be about
And-
8.
and the sign will be 5 foot high. Right, so I mean, essentially, let's say you have two posts,
7 inches, 4x4.
typically they go a little bit higher than the sign itself, just for aesthetic reasons. I mean, but again, they can provide a detail for it, but I think that's what it's trying to say, is
Mhm.
the sign's gonna be 15 square
Right.
feet. Then you'll have posts outside of it. The sign
The
itself
top of
will
the
be
sign, I
5.
wonder what the top of the sign is gonna be at, what height,
5 foot.
5 foot.
5.
including the, okay, so
Right.
5 foot sign.
Five,
so
the
top
sign
of
will
the-
be down.
Right,
So the bottom of the sign then is 2 foot off of the ground,
yeah,
right? If it's 3 foot.
Correct.
okay, all right, just
Yes.
making it
Right.
understood.
So by the driveway, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Or the new driveway.
The new
See here?
driveway,
See here?
right?
They could have a detail probably for next month,
Yeah.
just to memorialize the conversation in a picture.
And a sign, if you will.
And a sun, there you go, and a sandwich.
So as far as I'm pulling in.
Lighting plan. What is this? Tuesday?
The driveway cuts through a little bit of a hillside. How much of that hillside is cut down? And on the east side of it, what's that slope from?
So as per our site walkthrough, there's 3 areas that are going to get cut a little bit where the rock is. Those are the only areas that remain to be graded. There's an area right at where the road enters the woods. That's got to get taken down probably about 3 feet or so. It's a rock outcropping there. There's an area right by the building site where the road kind of comes into it. That's just a little knob of rock there. It's probably only a 20 by 10 foot area that's got to get taken out, just some rock. And then right as you approach the east side of the building, there's like a rock hump there. We were kind of standing on that when we had the meeting there. And that has to probably get taken down about 4 feet. It's just a rock hump. And it's about, I'd say maybe 15 foot wide and maybe 80 to 100 foot long. It's just kind of like a long strip of rock that we have to just take down. So there's really not much grading. I mean, the site is flat. The actual building site is completely flat. Where the septic is going is fairly flat as well. The road is, for all intents and purposes, fairly graded there. And so it's just the rock outcroppings, which we got to bring a hammer in and hammer that out.
George, is the lighting? With the little circles, part of the diagram, is that enough to determine in line, like, how bright that's gonna be, or?
Well, the brightness is gonna be the 3000 Kelvin, right, with a wattage. It should be spec'd on them. So the 3000 is gonna give you a color, if you will, right? I'm assuming that the circles are the outer limits of what it's gonna cast on the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then those circles are based on a mounting height of 25 feet. That's where you might get some sky glow.
With that height, you're saying?
Well, if they're up at 25 feet, they're dark sky compliant, they're shining down. But if that's at 25 and you're at elevation 680, at 25, that's where the light is.
Mhm.
If you're out here on the street, you're at 670 by the entrance. So you will see the light, most likely.
Are the lights intended to be on all night?
I don't know that answer. One way to limit that would be to lower the lights.
Right.
Yeah, and we can lower the lights. We just need to have more of them.
Right.
So we tried to go with less lights to cover the area. There's no intention of having them on at night. There shouldn't be any activity there at night. So I think it's just pretty much in the evenings when it's dark in the winter, early in the morning if somebody's coming in and it's dark. We don't intend to run them at night.
This.
Of the roadside sign, same,
I would.
gonna go out night or.
Floodlight here, shine that out into the
Yeah,
parking lot.
have
So
it
it goes
on
to the
that
back.
Even corner.
Matt, did you hear Kate's question?
Yeah, right.
On the building.
No, I couldn't hear Kate. Sorry.
Maybe put.
Does
three
the
lights
roadside
mounted, like,
light have to
12
be
foot
on
here,
it too,
here,
at night,
here.
or just
I mean, it's.
like when you?
doesn't need-
No,
Crazy.
we can limit the hours on that. We could
I-
put that on a timer. That's no problem.
I didn't know if. You're not gonna
Anyone
have
go to a
deliveries at
slaughterhouse
night or
isn't
whatever.
gonna be wearing high heels and, you know, some colors and stuff.
I don't know what kind of butcher you go to.
Generally, we can kind of.
What are the operating hours going to be?
6 to 7.
So
It's on here.
yeah, like 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. We intend to probably have the trucks come in early. And then, in the evening, we'll be wrapping up probably around 7. So those are the typical hours.
There's USDA hours, so most of the work can be stopped most likely at 3 o'clock, like it's clean up in there.
I think 25 feet on the lights is excessive.
George, any
See it on
comment on
the-
lowering and then having them saying they'd have to have more, does that?
Well, when you lower the lights, you need more of them, right? I mean, think of a flashlight. If I hold it up here, it shines on a big area on the floor. The closer I get to the floor, the brighter it gets, but the smaller that cone of influence, right, that you see. I mean, we've got overlapping light. I would think that you could probably, I haven't looked at it to design it, but if you were to put minimal lights, I would think you would need 3 at 12 to 15 foot mounting height. Doesn't need to be lit up like a Christmas tree. I mean, it's.
Say if the building's fairly tall, why couldn't
Yeah.
you go off the back of the building?
Put a floodlight behind it, shine it down. The building I think is gonna be what, 30 foot, something like that? I forget what the peak is, but
Do we have any idea?
that'll block some of the light.
Do we know what the building's gonna look like?
That like, yeah, you needed food doors, like the box shop coming in and 18 delivery, like deliveries that.
32
But yeah, keep the lights off of that parking lot. So they don't have to drive under them.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought.
There's no lights on the building itself.
Currently, no, but that's certainly an option. We could put floodlights at the peak and shine them down to the
I am
to
down
the
into
parking lot.
lot.
So
And
yeah,
then
that's fine.
away from the road.
Right, away from the road.
So you get 3
Do we know
poles.
what the building's gonna look like?
Oh, we don't have that yet.
Oh, we don't have that yet.
No, so eventually we'll get building elevations, Matt?
Yeah, currently we're looking to get the approvals, and then obviously we'll have to submit the building plans for the structural plans for the permit. Right now, we have a 20-foot sidewall because we need the height in there for the equipment, and then a 32-foot peak. So it's going to be a concrete and metal building, 20-foot sidewall, 32-foot peak, just one straight ridge line.
Eddie, do you have any comments for the applicant on any of this or?
Not right now, she, plan.
What? Oh, yeah, Tommy. Anyone else have any questions? I want to ask Warren to comment on process here, like.
I mean, the only thing I saw, I just looked at the EAF, there were a few questions that weren't answered. For this, carefully make.
Did you hear that, Matt? Warren is saying a few questions on the EAF were not answered, so we gotta make sure we fill in all those.
Okay, maybe we missed something, but we could look at it.
But the tree planting specified on the site plan?
Yeah, on the last page, we added a landscaping plan. And basically we added evergreen trees towards the front.
We put all evergreen tree.
Yeah.
Please?
Can you pick a specific species or breed?
Yeah, well,
So
there'll
we-
probably be spruce trees. Yeah, we can add that in there. That's fine. I mean, unless you guys have spruce or whatever you prefer.
So down.
Whatever is appropriate.
Just,
All right.
yeah,
So these trees that you're putting in are down by the road, the farm road.
That's
the
right.
house.
That's right.
By the
Behind,
right behind Bonneville's.
All
Right behind
but
Bonneville's,
nothing
exactly.
Up on that, when you overlooked. When you look down from up on top. There was a row of cedars and a big dead tree, I think. Are you gonna do anything there? Cause that's really was the sight line looking down.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely open to it, and I think we would want to put some stuff there. As we get into it more, we can find some good areas to put some trees. But we're certainly open to put some more trees in.
From the road, Vicky, or from the?
No, from up. Remember when we were standing on what he's talking about, cutting, taking out the rock?
To the west, back towards the market way, I think she's looking. Right, Vic?
Yeah, so when you're looking down, you can see the roof in the back, part of back of the house. So I'm just so I just thought
Closer to the building then, so.
more up here where they're talking about on the other side of the farm road. And along the ridge. And then you're not gonna park in front of the building, is that right?
That's correct. All the parking and vehicle traffic will be behind the building.
Yeah, I think move that stuff.
No, I know, but
Right.
there were cars down here, but that was down there, this road.
That kind of makes sense if that, just thinking we should have taken some flags. So you're the chairman.
So what was that, the 26th? When did we do that? By the way, I don't know if I mentioned that. We did conduct, as per the last meeting, we discussed having our site visit, which we did on April.
He's gonna not, yeah,
So what do you work,
improve those, right, I mean, because. beyond
adding to that? Or you're saying that that's
Adding,
leaving?
they're cedars, they're kind of shaky, there was another dead tree in there. If you go up farther this way,
Hmm. I know, Matt, you probably can't see my phone. Jack, can you just look at it, maybe? This opening here, is that going to be utilized between, like, going down the farm road towards the Bonnevilles there? Is that opening gonna be needed, or is that gonna be closed off?
That is needed for them to get to that first pasture.
From up here, like there's someone's
I
gonna.
thought they said
From the road, but I'm talking about the opening, so we're looking on the pad, looking towards the Bonnevilles, yeah, there's an opening, there's a tree line, there's an opening where there's a road
The road that goes back down.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The road from 199 to the first built part across the cattle guard.
right,
with the gate on the left hand side.
Right.
Will be utilized to get cattle in and out.
but not
but
from
could-
there
could
up.
trees go across, connect this two tree lines there
That's
into a line,
Over that.
would that, is this opening gonna be used anymore?
Not the opening from the field to the new building.
Right,
That road's gone.
Right, so, okay, so trees could go across there if the board were to.
Is that what you're talking about?
let me see.
The buildings there, Bonneville's are there,
Right.
opening, there's the.
So it's right here, right between the two trees.
It's the way we walked out. We walked in on the new driveways, we walked out on the old driveway.
Yes.
Bonneville's are back here.
Whoa. No, that's.
Bonneville, so there's a field. So they need to be able to come up here, go that
Hit
way.
it again.
Okay.
It was big.
What?
That was a serious.
So they don't have
bee.
to cross.
A good sized bee, like.
Oh.
Aren't they already putting plantings just around the house here? Around the house itself?
Why?
Maybe a little redundant and going. Well, what are we worried about? You're worried about people from the house seeing it or people from the road?
Other way, everyone saw you hit me.
I'm asking the board.
I think,
Both, quite
what am
frankly.
I think from the house, I think 350 feet, first of all, is too close, but I wouldn't want it in my backyard, but.
Mhm.
They're putting a row of trees over behind it, right?
On the
Right on the property line.
Yeah, but I think,
But if they're gonna be in direct line to the building too.
It's an attorney. Jim, and I'm chipping. It's a real asshole.
I mean, I guess applicant think about it. I mean, you heard comments if, Matt, if you,
Real asshole.
yeah, if you're up to planting some trees across that area there.
I just think if you were there, or if I was there, I'd want a lot of, I'd want trees, I'd want a berm or something.
Yeah, we're definitely open to doing that. So we'll add those
Yeah.
to the plan and kind of close off that gap there that you're talking about. That's no problem.
Great.
Yeah. All right, so. What else do we need? Do we need one, maybe this completed application, so let's say a public hearing.
Defer to George and.
I mean, all pieces are here. Did we get this via email today?
Just now.
Okay, so I should have that, so I can take a look.
If he has to amend something,
Yeah,
we're not.
that's what I mean, it's not
we're not
final,
ready
we're just saying it's completed for, you know, like say all the pieces seem to be here, but I, you know,
Yeah, we have enough for the public hearing.
Yeah,
think
and we
so.
need the building.
building elevations are still outstanding.
I
But
think we definitely.
doesn't mean we
need that.
can't open the hearing, but
And the building, don't we need to see what
What's it gonna look like?
it's gonna look like?
Yeah.
Well, do you think you'll have the building elevations by next month?
Pretty much have them now, right now.
Yeah,
Scott
we can give you a preliminary, and we don't want to go through a full structural design until we get approval.
No, just a visual on what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, we can give you that. That's fine.
So in my mind, we could set a hearing for next month, as long as we get those by then. We would expect to see them by then.
Yeah,
And
that's
George-
no problem.
Like not the
yeah,
night of the
I'll
meeting.
take a look
either.
at it, send the,
Well, we don't have to close the public hearing either.
Right.
Oh, okay.
that's for sure.
Warren,
Yeah, he has to, you have to refer this. I think it requires. a
Mhm.
hearing on there.
oh, absolutely, it's right,
So you're
it's on
gonna
the,
have to revise the fully, you have to answer all the questions, because that has to be sent to county. planning.
okay, but we don't need that back to open the public hearing, right? We send it to county planning, if we don't hear back from them, we saw the public hearing, correct?
Yeah, it's a public hearing.
Yeah,
Can't vote on it.
Make a decision until 30 days.
understood. So we need those revisions, so we can send it to the county, did you hear that? Matt?
Yeah, no problem. We'll double check it. We'll get it over to you in the next day or two.
Fix the AF and the things we talked about, get the building elevations. In the meantime. Can I have a motion to set a public hearing for next, what is the next one? It's fine. Let me look before we have any other stuff. It's a date.
Seems kind of fast.
Because we're late.
It's gonna go, it's gonna go like this.
Did they send they did the ag data statement, but did you guys send notifications to the farms
No, that'll go out once you set the public hearing.
at the public hearing?
And then,
1, 2. 3, 4. It's a month away. That's too soon.
Yeah, June 12th is what you're.
Mhm.
Let me look at June 12th. before I say it.
Oh, because we're a week later. you mean?
Uh-huh.
This one. This is actually a month, week into, May. Yeah, I think it's, again, we don't have to close the public
Right.
hearing at that time. The ag data statement obviously has to be, what did he say? Did you mail it? I didn't-
No,
No.
the
Oh,
public hearing.
All right,
No.
so,
Still you get notice plus the public hearing. Right, the ag data statement, so they get noticed twice.
Yeah.
all right, so they're gonna send the ag data, the applicant sends the ag data statement, correct, Warren?
Yeah.
Yes,
And we'll send the notices.
It's only three, whose Sunnyside is that?
That's Augustine.
It's
Mhm.
only three.
Well, it was, I think so. That's weird.
Can I see it?
One of them being.
I don't know if it's in here. I just heard.
It's on the end.
It says it's Sean Pratt, who I think is the solar.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's Pockatomic Valley, the Hammerschlags.
Commercially.
How many feet is this
Yeah,
required?
500.
Sugar Hill, Jack, you know about this?
and what about the other house across the street? Is that
Well,
500?
Well, this is the ag data, right?
Oh,
So
through that farms. Oh,
who,
okay.
what about who farm, is that not being currently farmed, like the solar field?
Yeah,
That's all.
Yeah.
They're just letting it grow this year or something? Who farms that, do you know?
Well, it was Lloyd, but it's getting, he's lost that lease since the new owner, and we may have it.
Ah. All right, that simplifies things. Um,
And it's barely 500. They're not far, right?
So just make sure to go out, that's all.
all right. So you guys make sure those go out. Tricia will do the meeting notice. I'm worried about that date. Well, it's,
I won't be here.
you won't be here.
No.
What's the?
Well, for them.
Going on vacation.
I won't be.
Purple books for meetings.
You won't be here.
Or somebody's gonna, yeah.
What date is that?
Somebody's gonna.
Well, July 12th.
Huh.
Oh, no, that's the wrong, no, sorry, I'm in the wrong year.
July
is the 10th. Yeah, I will.
June
is the 12th.
So you either plan really far ahead or you blew it last year.
It's the beginning.
Okay.
Hold on.
12th is the regular meeting, right?
Yeah.
We should have taken precedence over two other meetings that you would put on that sitting.
It's true. You're not wrong.
And here I am sitting on the bench, but I'm here now.
Well,
well, maybe she won't be next month.
Was my goodness.
okay, yeah, June 12th. All right, so, can I have a motion to set a public hearing on, June 12th at 7:30? Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
All opposed? All right, the public hearing is set for that date. Get the things, Warren?
You have to, you have to, declare yourself lead agency.
Now?
Yeah. And, assuming that the unlisted answer, there's type one. Yeah, so it wouldn't be, have to be,
Yeah,
but they did give us the full.
They did give us the full. Yeah.
Right, but yeah, you can do it full. And, and accept the full EAF as will be amended by the applicant.
Okay, so can I have a motion to declare ourselves lead agency on an unlisted action and accept the coming amended EAF? That's pursuant to the coming amended full EAF.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
All opposed? Okay. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you all. We'll see you next month.
Yeah.
They got it. I don't know. I don't want it, so if anyone wants a copy, otherwise the applicant wants it back. That's probably great. We need to keep one.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. It's called. Oh.
That's the race.
Yeah. There's a bridge for walk. It's true. It's true. It's easy. That stuff. Okay. All right.
Now that's gonna take the rest of the time. Yeah, I'm gonna put some paper.
Well, the board.
Yeah, make sure Tricia has those.
You got one.
Oh, I'm sure she.
How many pages you want?
Seven. One of each.
Unless you get a whole system. Unless you get one.
I see it.
Okay. While we get that set, the next up,
There you go. I get this to you, Jack.
is Hudson Performance.
So you're gonna roll off.
Pull up and trip.
Be careful. Hudson Performance Center, site plan and special use permit at 2698, like the 2700 Route 199.
Hi, everyone. My name's Anthony for I'm an architect out of Poughkeepsie. This is my first time here, so thanks for having me. I'm working with Jack on a proposed project at an existing auto body shop. As you mentioned, that 2700 Route 199. The current structure is roughly 2,000 square feet with a brick facade, a flat roof. The proposed project is an addition to the existing auto body shop towards the rear of the property, away from the street, which includes 3 bays for a new garage and a storage area towards the back. In addition to the footprint being expanded, there's going to be a proposed new gable roof and new siding throughout, with a small showroom attached towards the front of the building, closer to the street. So I'm happy to go through some of the more critical sheets that are involved with the project.
Did we get this digitally yet or no? I know there was like a couple of sheets scanned.
You brought them, or maybe Jack gave them to you.
I got to build a slide.
That's what we got.
Okay.
But we only have like 2 sheets.
I don't know if we got those over to you digitally, maybe not.
I think Tricia, for the picture, if you get, you'll, later, when you send an email.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so my first question is, so the building currently is non-conforming?
Correct.
To the side boundary?
Correct.
But the addition will be conforming.
Yeah, you can see the building's not orientated, parallel to this property line, so that's why we jogged the building to comply with the required setbacks as dictated in it's an L light industrial zone. So it requires a 10-foot setback on that side, which the proposed addition does comply with.
And how come the setback, are you just showing that it's that farther back, but why 25 on the other side? Is it that's all L, that's right?
Yeah, I mean, the way the code is written is that it can be a combination of the two for the side setback, so it's either, 10, but the total for both side setbacks, I think, has to be 35 or so. Yeah, so
25.
yeah.
25, that's?
It's side yard bulb, it's full side.
For light industrial.
So more than.
So it's more than in compliance on that. one.
Yeah.
Okay. And Warren, that's not a problem, right? The building is non-compliant now, but the addition is all gonna be in compliance. It's nothing that we have to worry about zone.
It's something non-conforming. Yeah, something like. You might like this.
Okay. There's definitely a lot here today, yes.
Yeah, most of it might not be applicable to, your review, but there are, building elevation. There's also additional 3D views of the entirety of the building towards the, in the A900 series. In addition to myself on the project, a licensed architect, there's also a licensed structural engineer. Working with the existing conditions, it being an older building, the building on top of it, ensuring that it's done in a safe way. In terms of the street facing facade, there are currently 2 bays of garage doors. We're actually taking one away, adding some storefront glass, which will improve the appearance of that facade from the street. And then, as I mentioned before, most of the work is being done toward the rear of the property. The building is adjacent to another auto body shop. They share a driveway with, and I believe a easement passageway in between.
Okay.
So is it gonna be, what is it gonna be?
It's going to be an auto body shop at the front. Yeah.
Not all of my order, but
Yeah.
In the back is going to be, oh,
Same, and then this,
this was good. That's
How,
like 4.
how big is this?
yeah, so I don't, I could look at the plans, but I believe just, just off the top of my head, 12 by 15, or call it 15 by 15, I'd say. Just enough to fit, a car in there. For display purposes, not for repair purposes.
What's the line between the 2 buildings?
Where is the line?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I knew where. Oh, well, thank you.
I'm assuming we're gonna need a copy of the easement for Warren. Who owns it? The
We-
Bartolomeo stuff?
Yeah.
No,
Road, the wheel of time had a 15-foot right of way.
Okay.
Damn.
all right, so whatever,
Very
I,
wonky.
The
whatever,
property line is actually out in the long wheels of time. Like where there's assignments, that's how far road frontage.
Yeah, there is a survey. I don't know if you guys see it. There is a survey.
All right.
is the language, so we'll need that language for the easement or whatever. Whatever, agreements exist.
not much motion there now. I mean, rules of flight, it's never.
Well, it's straight between us, that's why that last spot, that's everything's moved, so we get this straight. Straight shot. There we go.
We've lost behind to your neighbors.
What's that?
We've lost behind to your neighbors.
No, that's existing.
Yeah, I know.
That's where it's all. The road is open.
Nothing else. They're in hand at the back. So this is the existing building. We're trying to set up.
Or,
I take it any sort of like, I don't know who regulates these things or like requirements or like things that capture oils and all that,
Yeah, so there's different ways to do it. If you are to have a drain, floor drains, and
Guys, I just like.
if you are to have floor drains, then you do need an oil capturing system. But we're not having any floor drains in the slab itself. So it'll be done, it'll be cleaned up, on a manual basis. So it wouldn't be going out into sewers or out to the exterior at all.
What, George, do you have questions?
But unfortunately, questions, comments. Just, I don't think you have the survey, so I'll just walk over here so you can see it. So that's the existing building. The new one will be back here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's,
What is that?
says well pit. And there's an addition up here. And that's right next to the septic.
The well is gonna be moved,
Right. So that needs to
there's
like
no water there.
kind of be on the site plan that's abandoned, filled in.
Okay.
The septic is kind of shown right where that front addition is gonna be. So again, if we could have that plotted on a site plan based on the survey, we'd be able to see that. But again, making change of use, change of intensity of use, like we've discussed before. So it's arguably the same type of use, but the intensity will be different with the larger size, the more bays. Unfortunately, that means DOT is gonna have to give us an opinion letter on entrances, and the health department's gonna have to give us an opinion on the septic.
This is what, just like a bathroom for
There's
the,
no, there was originally 2 bathrooms in the place.
Right.
Not toilets and sinks, not full bathrooms. That's what was there and that's all there is gonna be there.
Correct, but the way the health department views the design flows is based on, you know, the building itself, not fixture count. So with the additional use potential, they may or may not have, because I don't even know what septic is, maybe nobody knows septic. It may be fine, it may not be fine. But under procedure, there's questions on water, there's questions on wastewater, there's questions, you know, traffic impact. So those will be, if it's the state road, the state will have to answer the entrance and traffic question. Health department would have to answer the wastewater question. Most likely you're on town water, I would assume.
no,
No, not there.
Yeah, so then, you know, you have to get a new well, which would have to again meet separation distances. From any potential septic and the septics around.
We have Smith well drilling, getting the permit on all that.
Yeah.
Stuff, so that's all.
So that should all be on the site plan. Too. Which I mean, there's like kind of a site plan here that shows the existing building and the proposed building. And then there's a survey that kind of should be brought together. So that all of those features are seen on one drawing.
and so the septic gonna be under where the new addition is?
No,
Tough-
behind it.
tough to
It's
say.
already there.
Yeah, it's there. There's an approximate location on the survey. It's hard to say without it being on, that's why this should be on the same drawing. But in any case, regardless of where it falls. The health department needs to hold on to whether or not it's rights. Not a local code for us to interpret where it is.
And refresh my memory, is there any curb cuts or is it just like a complete apron, like the whole length of the property there?
There's a couple curves that's shown on the survey.
Right in front of the building there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It's, well, it's still there is my question.
Yeah.
So might be on this, when was the survey done?
Curb.
That was just done.
Oh, was, okay.
The surveys just,
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah, so the curb is,
For this purpose, yeah.
and the tanks, I take it, were all removed in the past? The gas,
okay.
Trust. Yeah, sorry.
I only have the.
So we move on to the lighting and yes,
what is that?
I don't,
Is there a lighting in here yet or not yet?
For interior, there is, for exterior, there's minimal lighting proposed at the street facing facade above some signage.
I saw, like, that's the only, no lights in the parking lot or?
There may be some on the building, just illuminating your garage doors. Facing the parking lot side.
The only lights that's indicated are these, is there?
The pole.
So eventually, is a pole light?
Is it existing? Okay,
I don't know if they or not, but there's one there.
okay.
So we'll need to know what lighting's there and what, and I'm sure you heard, yeah. Dark sky blind,
Of course.
3,000 Kelvin or less.
you should know that
Down facing for the sign one.
Dutchess
or any of
County, Dutchess County has downgraded that to 2,700
Right, so it's like.
instead of 3,000.
Dutchess County has done.
Well, I would, yeah, just whoever, Millbrook, but
Yeah.
the state,
Building.
they're now recommending 2,700
Yeah.
instead of 3,000, so you know. I brought all kinds of paperwork.
Went to a class.
I did.
I mean, I'm fine with asking for 2,700 as long as that doesn't. You know, they can still get, are there lights out there that you can buy that,
Oh.
George, you know this?
Yeah, I
I think he's
just,
saying that the county is suggesting 2,700 now, Kelvin. Is that? Is that like, does that shrink the amount of lights that are available to any significant degree?
no, wait.
I don't know, I mean, if there's a need for them, people will make them, but I mean, that's really like the color.
The color
The color,
temperature, yeah.
yeah.
Temperature more
It's not
so
so-
than, you know,
But the blue, people are very,
yeah,
Especially on the road.
you know, if you keep them low enough, it doesn't. You know, you put them up in the air, everybody's gonna sing. If you leave them low to the ground. I don't get too upset over, you know, color temperature.
well, let's see if you can, I guess we'll. Well, that's
right.
good at the last. Okay.
I just went the other night.
No, but I mean earlier tonight. we talked about
Yeah, our
that.
code still says 3,000.
Yeah, let's
Right,
try to keep it
yeah.
at 3,000 and then if you can accommodate 2,700 without becoming burdensome. We'll ask for that. Sound good?
Yeah,
And then we can look at it
saying
with the
what, I
code.
mean, everybody seemed to be good down there.
Right.
So it was just being discussed. It wasn't
Oh, no, that's now what they're
Recommend.
recommending.
suggested. Recommending, not demanding,
So
correct?
Not yet.
No,
the warmer the
Yeah,
better
okay.
as far as.
Yeah. The big one. It's a big one.
All right, so. All right, what do we have, where are we at? So we need, is there, so this a sketch plan meeting or is this the actual? Like, do you have an EAF and all that or not yet?
No,
Okay.
the application.
Yeah, no, the EAF is the. Environment,
I'm gonna wanna see a fully,
yes. What type of action is this?
so it's probably an unlisted action. It's not a type one.
No, it's not.
I mean, given the proposed use, we should have a fully,
It is a same use that that building has been under.
like,
Um,
is it currently being used?
well, they moved away within the year, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. What's that? Oh, September?
I thought, but I.
Yeah, it was fair. It was definitely within the year that it was operating as a repair shop.
So that was a non-conforming use?
Technically non-conforming use and, because it never went through zone. One of those.
So
It's grandfather.
it was always
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, but it expires if it hasn't been used for 1 year.
But it has within the year. So they,
September will be here
September, so okay.
with any time frame.
Can I get a set of these plans, please? Of course. And so.
you're gonna have this.
And it's light industrial. Didn't they,
Yeah.
the zoning get changed so that this would be conforming?
Oh, yes, but again, with this, the same, we can run into it, hasn't gone for certain. Eddie, remind me, is site plan and special use permit for this, correct?
So, yeah.
Yes, so it's site plan and special use permit in this zone. But it's allowed use. That, if I may opine, is exactly what the light industrial zone was there for. It's supposed to be. All right, so
When they need health department and
I'll get a chat from him.
the road.
DOT.
DOT, health department,
So do we need what Warren wanted since we're over the year?
What zoning district is this?
A full EAF.
the light industrial, it's not in that copy.
Oh, I don't have that.
We're working on getting those, Warren. Madeline talked to the town board and they voted, I believe they, right? The guys, they voted to print the zoning codes to 4 copies, like
Or
$500.
she's, yeah,
Oh, we have them.
me and Melly can remember the fourth one was what, so thank you.
So,
You still want the full EAF,
Yeah, fully,
even though it's been less than a year,
I think there are just so many issues. with
just because of the nature of the business.
To, I mean, the fact that it was a non-conforming use, now it's gonna be
That's just in the zone.
a conforming use.
it's just because it was, yeah, it's older than, we went through the same, I don't know if you followed our exciting hearings here, when we went through at Champetra. When they, because that had been a restaurant, but it, it was pre-existing zoning, you have to go through this whole. So then now it's gone through zoning, so it is conforming use, and in the zoning, it says any use, pre-existing zoning is considered non-conforming. I guess that's what standard practice when,
Yeah, but you can have issues with hazardous waste and disposal of oil and all that, so that would be reflected in the full EAF, not in the short EAF.
right, okay.
So are your comments, are they gonna be reflected in the minutes that can be, I could refer to later, or should I jot them down now?
I don't know.
And we also have a
This
this
whole meeting's on YouTube.
it's all on YouTube.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Don't have a pen, so.
Town of Pine Plains Planning and Zoning Boards.
All right, thank you all.
Anything else that I can think of? Thank you. All right, so we'll look to have a completed application next month, and we'll set the, or close to it as we can get, and we'll set a public hearing and further steps. Also, once we have get everything we need, we has to go to the county. For the 239M referral, which they have up to 30 days, right, 30? 30 days to get back to us. Okay. Thank you. Need a frequent flyer card. Punch card. Next up, we have Cisco minor subdivision.
Want to settle this, Jim? Don't bring them back,
No, we talk about patience, and I will tell you, my time with Keith and Janine has been long. They've been very patient for me over the years, I will say. But they have wanted to start this process for a while. I only brought 2 plans with me. We had handled.
I have more.
Okay, then.
Pretty easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Putting it up on,
Look at that.
All right, and it's up on.
It's up on the screen.
So, you want one more, or you wanna look at it? You're good. So the Cisco's currently on a piece of property that fronts on North Main Street, also known as County Route 83A. North Main Street ends and the county route, ends and the town road starts at Ryan Road at the intersection where Doug's shop is. From there, it's Hoffman Road up. So part of their property is on a county highway, part of it's on a town highway. They currently have 2 residences, one on the east side of Hoffman Road, one on the west side of Hoffman Road. The one on the west side of Hoffman Road, it was a trailer. It is now a frame house or building. It does have a approved Dutchess County Health Department approval, along with a well, an existing entrance. The house that they live in is on the east side. Again, it's a residence. The residence was there before the health department was approving septic systems, so it's prior to any approval. It does have a well, existing entrance. What it does is it comes down and makes this funny shape, and the reason is that everything was owned by the Patchins back in the day. The Patchins Mill has the rights to the mill pond, and that was generally what they said would have been the limits of the mill pond back in the day. So that's why it kind of comes kind of close to the road here, following the topography. What they'd like to do is separate off the smaller house from the main house and then have a lot to the south. Originally, everything on the east side was Hamlet Main Street, in the zoning code. We recently redid the zoning and, I gotta double check one more time. The only thing that I have is the letter from, Taylor Young, which we changed it to include the property across the street because it's all one tax parcel to Hamlet Main Street as well, which allows us to go for the areas. So lot one, we're looking at 1.73 acres with the existing house, existing septic system, existing driveway entrance. Lot two, existing on the east, house, septic system and entrance. To the south, it's all vacant land, mostly upland meadow. In the application, we provided, not only the federal wetland mapping, but DEC resource mapping, which shows everything. And generally, none of the wetlands come onto the property according to those in the application. With that said, we kept lot three over 5.06 acres, which in New York State creates the health department as a non-realty subdivision. Therefore, they are not forced to get the health department approval at this time. And they have no intention to build or do anything at this moment. And where I might put the house and where somebody else might put the house could greatly differ. So no plan to do that. The one thing that we do have to deal with is a entrance to get onto the property. We contacted Dutchess County Highway Department and met Bill Trifilo out on site. We had picked out a spot. Bill verified some site distances, thought it would work really well. One of the things that he asked is we're going to need some details on the map showing driveway, how it needs to be built, and some notes that he'd like. And once he has those things on the map, then he will submit a letter for a conceptual access permit, so you'll know one could be built when we do need them.
It's a rural zone. The small piece is still rural.
It is so rural.
Yeah. Eddie's old place is
The last one.
yeah.
Now, with the rural, what is the acreage? Is it it's 5?
I don't know, bro, cause a petrol subdivision.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's not exactly.
Also, it does, and because up here, when they redid the bridge and that was closed for 2 or 3 years, they also did highway taking where the county actually took property there, so the county actually owns the roadbed there, which separated it and took from the Cisco's as well. So I'm not sure how you want to handle that if that's the case, and I would imagine, I don't know, do we need to go to the zoning board of appeals? Or
I don't know, we're bisecting your property to be create a natural subdivision.
What's that? Ed?
It probably could qualify. There's a debate about.
Well, that's what
Right.
we're talking
There
about.
There isn't any statutory precedent, but there are opinions that.
That would be now for
But as long as you're
Trouble.
subdividing, what's
And they got existing house, existing well.
subdividing 3 lots, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think,
2 of the lots are in the main Hamlet Main Street. And one, the small one with the small cabin, is that what it is? Cottage would be in the rural zone.
So what, do we have any acreage?
5, and it's 1.7.
Then you would have to go.
5.
Which one is,
so this one's in the rural.
One that's
so that
already
one would have-
subdivided off, really.
The one that's on the other side of the road.
And then these are all Hamlet Main Street, so they can be as low as
Logic in looking this
late 6.
Main Street district.
everything's
remember.
existing. yeah.
well, if it's a natural, then you may want to argue it's a natural.
I don't
subdivision.
This is
Make an argument that it's a natural subdivision, then you would
Cisco's.
right,
go to the
but this is,
ZBA.
you know, empty and then they had this, so maybe they
Yeah.
figure.
They lost life on Sundays.
I don't.
A little research on natural.
Yeah.
I remember we were more concerned with But it's like, oh, well, that's, you know, there's two businesses operating there.
We always show.
I got time.
If you do it here, it
Yeah.
makes sense to continue it down for these parcels to the intersection, because if they're gonna be non-compliant, should they
The
ever
gravel
yeah,
bank is on one,
yeah.
do anything like this.
wasn't
Always did.
big White House
We've
spotlight
been
down,
doing that in
and
the
they had
past.
property across the street.
I have to check I have a file on.
That would go in the resolution, whereas.
Get one out by factory
They
lane.
don't set it.
But that would help you, then you wouldn't have to get a variance.
Right.
1.3.
We got a bunch of whereases for the resolution, but where does the house exist, where the well exists, where does this exist, where is it? Bisected by the criteria.
So something you have to research more, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But you think it's a possibility that.
I think there's a possibility. I mean, we probably have in the past treated them as natural subdivision. Not every town has that policy.
We are, like I said, the Siscos are very patient people. But yeah, if we could get some sort of interpretation, along, only because if I do need to go to the ZBA, I could attend that meeting and start that process as well. Because I think the hardship exists. I do believe it exists, that there's two separate houses separated by the road, and the zoning commission, of which I was part of, did not pick that up, so.
There's a second one. Did they?
So the 1.3.
The light industrial. Last one, the right size.
So this one is in rural.
The light industrial, where they did, none of the last.
Hamlet.
They said, I remember.
Yeah.
Hamlet Main Street.
It's supposed to be 5 acres or something, and not one of the last 5 acres.
With that, we kinda just wanted to prevent, so I'd say that.
Here, I can. Wait, what?
Do you see any other concerns, besides zoning problems or?
No,
So they don't have to get Board of Health approval for that 5 acre.
They have something. Right.
That's up to them, so if they know.
Right, they can if they want, they don't have to.
same with the driveway, the
The same.
proposed entrance that's there.
Well, proposed entrance,
We gotta
you
get
know,
that.
is kind of needed to show that you can access the property and they're already.
So the
doing
county,
that.
the county will sign off on that and say
Oh.
one could be built
Oh.
at one point. And we'll have a letter to provide us.
Yeah, over the 5 acres, it's presumed you get a health department approval, and the health department will stamp the drawing still to say that it's not approved. And that you do need to come back, so they'll put that like, and then,
But until they get approval, then there's no building permit. So
Right.
what it does is it gives the new owner a little flexibility of where he wants to put his buildings, houses, or he or she.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we need to get that determination as soon as we can, so they know to go to the zoning. See, when do you need Amy?
Oh, I mean,
So when it's supposed to be?
it's supposed to be. It would be, what's it, June 25th.
Wait, June?
Oh, sorry.
May.
That's the thing.
May,
May 28th.
May 20. But you would need to know before then, put on the agenda and,
I mean,
so
you could do them pretty.
Warren. I'm sorry, Warren. So what'd you say on the
I
flop?
mean, I feel like as long as I know it was like. A week before,
So that would be when?
as long as I'm on the wall though.
When would it be? May?
20,
No, so a week before is May.
21st. Let's say May 20th, just.
Oh,
That's too.
That's in like 3 days.
no, that's
5 days.
5 days. No.
What day?
As soon as you can, let us know, let the applicant know, let us know, and then, Tricia will interface with, if she has to, with, Scott and let them know.
More patience. It's not my last day, I'm not big, straight line. Yes.
Okay, DNS. DNS Apartments.
Do
Maggie.
Doug, this is you.
They got one.
Okay.
Yeah, fold it down.
So this is a pre-application sketch plan discussion
Yes,
of a project that he's working.
yeah. What I wanna do is, thinking about doing, I wanna talk to the board about, is demoing the building that's there. But my question is, have I gotta meet the setback and stuff if I go new?
Okay, so, what building are we talking about? Just like one that's real.
Old Pex.
Yes,
All right, and that's 7788 South Main Street.
correct.
And currently,
See, my wife and I own two parcels there. But the front parcel doesn't own the parking. The back parcel owns the parking.
and this, right, okay. But that has frontage on, South Main also, right? The back parcel, as you're calling it,
Yes, actually, the back parcel has more frontage
then,
than the front parcel.
so you're looking at demoing, you wanna demo the building on this. It'd be great if we could pull that up. Can we pull this
Google
up?
Maps.
Parcel access,
parcel.
please. Just so, and tell you, if you wanna sit, you can sit.
No, that's okay, I'm all right.
Okay, all right, so now we can see what we're talking about here. So what you're referring to, the back lot is 417165,
Correct,
and you wanna demo just the building in the front there? There
Yes.
seems to be some accessory buildings back there.
but that's on the back parcel.
Are those staying?
No, they're just a
Two little
couple,
sheds,
yeah, shed,
and that other building would be staying on the back parcel?
yes,
Okay, and what is that?
that's two apartments
That's two apartments back there. Okay,
in the back, yes.
okay,
And there's four apartments in this building.
okay.
There's a studio. There's a 1 bedroom downstairs, there's a 1 bedroom upstairs, and there's a 2 bedroom upstairs.
And you wanna demo this building in the front and then put it on that same small lot?
Yes,
Okay, so that would. Yeah, I mean, so obviously you can't meet any of the setbacks.
correct,
And that's pre-existing zoning, non-conforming you.
correct.
So he would have to, Warren, he would have to go to the ZBA for that?
If you want to expand it.
He wants to keep it this. He wants to
No.
replace it.
Replace-
Demo it and
If you
replace it.
replace it within the same parameters of the old building, that's fine.
Okay, but it's like, for instance, it's like an L shape now. And I would rather make it more square, but the same square footage. Not go back so far with the L.
So it's a different.
Different footprint.
And,
Kept it at the same footprint.
right, so,
Same footprint or the same square footage? Well, I mean, I can do that, but gonna look stupid.
It's an old building with a.
Well-
Yeah.
well, you could go to the ZBA to ask for the variance. It's just a area variance, it's not a
Right.
use variance. And they.
We're all pro apartments, so.
Yeah, I mean, this is where so then what happens if they demo this building and then replace it and then with the septic system?
Well, I already got that covered because, and I don't know, Vicky probably does, or some people on the board. When the post office burnt, Buddy Gom and Mary Ann Gom owned the property at the time. The back parcel they owned. They were gonna put a building up, in fact, I had the plans for it, in this parking lot where these cars are, okay? And they went ahead and put the septic system in. The septic system is already back there.
the septic system for 414161 is on the other lot?
It's on 417165, but if I put them two together. That's why I'm asking about the criteria is,
Wait, are you going to merge these parcels?
I don't want to, but if I have to, I will.
Well, that, if you merge them, then you would have more room, like you could move it away from the boundary. You could have a driveway back to the parking.
Right, but I'm gonna lose parking and driving. I don't know what the regulations are for driving and parking. If I stay off this, setbacks. On the south side,
This, Eddie, what's the setback on in this?
10 feet.
Why didn't they change that? Less than town, the center of town.
Yeah, this is,
I think it's 10 combination, similar to light industrial. As long as you have 10 feet on either side of the properties. Cumulative. Be making that up. I don't have my coffee.
well, I think
That sounds good.
it's 8 and 12. Well, something I can't remember.
Yeah. See those, it's hard. Because everything's working on the lot.
Right there.
And now
That's a
you've
good
got to go
question. 5 feet,
5 feet.
Wow.
5 feet setback.
That was just changed.
Hamlet business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
I don't have quite 5 feet now,
What is it now? Do you know?
probably 3. On the south side.
Right.
Between the two buildings you're talking
Between the neighbor and
about?
160.
5. There's like a little, feet 5.
I only own half of it though.
Um. So all right, so so if you demo that building and the septic's on somebody else's, what is the county?
Well, there's a septic there now, but if I needed more septic, like is Dutchess County gonna turn around and say, okay, I need 100% expansion,
Yes,
okay?
Mm.
I'm not gonna have it, but I have it on the other parcel.
Can't septic on.
Right, then you'd have to join the two,
Hmm.
and then then does that mean that he can't just replace the building? On the same,
oh, why do you not want to join, you prefer not to join them? Is there a reason, or what
Well-
is the?
No, it's just, if I join them, then I'm gonna lose. If I gotta only go a little bit, that's one thing, but if I have to go a lot towards the north, then I'm gonna lose parking and I'm gonna lose, driveways.
It sounds like,
Moving the building, just joining the two parcels, not moving the building, keeping it the same footprint. Is there a problem with merging the two parcels?
No, really, no. Not if I can demo that building and put a new building up.
but it sounded like you'd only need to move it 2 feet.
Right,
If you had 3,
right.
and then if you joined, or you just gave some of 165 to 161.
That's why I'm here talking.
Right.
because I want to do it naturally the easiest and the simplest for everybody. And there's a lot of options.
Well,
yeah, you
I-
can do a lot line adjustment.
but ideally, like as the town thinks, right? If the building could just go more frontage, more building on the front. If you can join,
I'm right up against the sidewalk now.
No, like.
no, so to the north. The more the
okay.
building goes to the north and fills in the street wall, the better.
So it would be
So-
off the footprint, but it'd be better for the town.
Correct. Yes,
But it would be off the footprint.
but if you move it just 2 feet
Well,
and then go north and then give some from the other property or whatever, or merge them or whatever, that would be very favorable. I mean, we can,
So take that wonky addition and put it up here.
yeah, like instead of having an L shape, have a big rectangle. Would that be something?
He wanted more square.
And parking in the back.
And then the parking behind, you have a driveway, come behind, park, that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Encourage whatever, you know, as a town. Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Can I just point out?
Yes, Wes.
Conforming. You look at page 153 of the PDF, there's a repair or alteration of a non-conforming building or structures. Nothing contained in this article shall be deemed to prevent normal repair, maintenance, or structural altercation or enlargement of a non-conforming building.
Alteration.
Provided such action does not increase the degree of or create any new non-conformity with regard to setbacks, height, lot coverage, or other regulations set forth in the zoning law pertaining to buildings or structures that would require an area variance from the zoning board of appeals. To me, that says, and I would say that everybody has to look at it, that he's allowed to enlarge or change the footprint. It doesn't say that it's gotta be in the same footprint.
Yeah.
But isn't it easier to just have a nice big rectangle?
That's what
Well,
you're
that's-
saying, Doug. You want it to be a rectangle, not
Not an L,
an.
Right, that would be better for you, right?
definitely, and it would look better
Yeah,
also.
yeah, so you can't, instead of having that big wide opening, you just have a
Yeah.
driveway back to, so I think, yeah. Like however, you can have that happen, working with Eddie with the code, you can,
I guess you'd have to go to zoning board, right?
well, no, not if he
No.
moves it to 2 more feet, right? He says 5 feet.
Okay.
And then make it a
Yeah.
demo the building, make it a rectangle. Do whatever lot line adjustment or merge the properties, whatever you need to do from, and then just have it as a driveway back to the parking.
So we can do it all right here.
Right, but then if you get rid of the L, then you have more things to work back there for the septic and everything, right? If that back piece is gone.
Sounds like you have to merge the parcels.
That sounds to me to be the best.
These two include.
Because even moving the property 2 feet, you'd be into your second parcel.
Well, yeah, I mean, so you can do a lot line adjustment,
lot
get
line.
partial, or you can just merge them, either one of those.
But if he needs a septic, he's gotta have that part as a part of that parcel too.
Right, that'll septic on the other property thing.
And where's the septic on that property?
Work out the septic.
And now,
Yeah,
it's
it's back up in the corner, right?
right directly, this grass area,
Yeah.
right here.
Ah,
So then it stretches out into the other property or no?
No, it's on this, it's on,
Oh, you're saying the expansion capacity would have to be on the
Yeah.
other property.
yeah.
understood.
See, because at one time. And Dick's dad owned it, okay, at one time, he owned the front buildings, okay? And Paul Gardner owned the back building. And then I bought the front building. And then at a later date, I bought the back building.
And the only other thing would be like, obviously replace it with something that fits in with the character,
Right.
not a
Yeah.
modern whatever, something that looks like the rest of the frontage on around the center of town. Then you would have that, if you merge them, then that other building in the back. Where the 51-foot mark is, that's 2 apartments, you said?
Yeah.
So that'd be an accessory dwelling in the back. So either way, whatever makes sense for you, you could do. Either a lot line adjustment and give part of it or merge it. Whatever you prefer.
Then that gives that really though a hot, like a narrow,
What's,
if you would make a lot line adjustment,
it would narrow the frontage of the back lot, yeah.
yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, you could go all the way up, right, like whatever, if you merge it, you can put the building up to the 61-foot sign.
Yeah.
And you may end up with more apartments.
Yeah.
And then everyone pulls in, drives around the back, obviously if the septic can fit, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's also another thing,
Yeah.
the septic's all traffic bearing as
Right.
well.
Right, so that's expensive.
But,
So that's expensive, or what's the?
no, I said,
I think it's already built, it's already built.
it's already built, but it's traffic bearing, so it can be driven over.
Right.
It's all traffic bearing.
Plus, you know a good septic.
All right, so I think you have an idea now of what,
Yes, I do.
okay,
And thank you very much. I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Hey,
Have a good night.
you too.
Thanks, Doug.
Take care.
60 years ago.
Take care.
Wait.
No, no, front line.
Really?
Oh, did you really?
All right,
I remember that.
I'm back.
Kevin, do you have anything from the town board?
Nothing.
We thank them for the code books. Thank you guys for the code books. That'll help. And it's it was crazy because it wasn't, no one had a physical copy or in
Crazy.
one place. You'd have to go to E-code, but that's fine. But not for nothing, if it's on, it could disappear tomorrow. You never, the wrong thing happens with like a ransomware or something. We don't even know what our zoning program would be anymore.
The solar star. Everything. I couldn't make.
So one is for Madeline, and then so she could just lend out her copy, right?
Well, we have 4.
We have one for Eddie.
I have one. I don't, she had extra, we didn't remember for school. Right.
Like everything.
4 in my copy.
Okay, sure. Yes, Steve.
I said it's for you.
No. I know we were flying back. I'm trying to eliminate paper in my life. Okay, so first, before we have,
I have an answer for you on the southern.
okay, which answers? Oh, the sub.
No, it's actually in the subdivision regulation. And unfortunately, you're gonna need a variance, because it says here, where a subdivider desires to split a parcel of land that is described as one parcel on a recorded deed, which is bisected by a public right of way. The application may be processed in accordance with the provisions herein, subject to the following. A, the planning board shall determine whether or not the action qualifies as an actual subdivision. B, the property must be divided by a deeded public utility right of way, state highway, or other deeded highway, which you have. And not by a highway by use, right? That was, I thought that was okay. C, each lot shall comply, this is the problem, with table B schedule bulk regulations for the zoning district in which the property is located. So this says, you can have a natural subdivision, but you have to have the required acreage that's compliant for that zoning. So you'd have to get a,
Planning board.
NC,
huh?
comply with all 3 of those, or
Yeah.
just pick one.
No,
It says and.
all 3. So you just need a variance. It wouldn't be a difficult variance to get just for that one lot for the stuff. So.
There's the
It's
answer.
an extra month of meetings, but
Well, oh yeah, I guess so, yeah, but they can get on they can at least get on the agenda for.
May.
She application.
Yeah, so just get Tricia the application for the ZBA as soon as possible.
And that'd be the 328, right?
Yeah, and then they'll come to you for a recommendation. I'm assuming the planning board would recommend that the variance be granted. So, should be that.
Eddie, what's Hamlet Main Street? What is the acreage? I'm just curious if it was. Right, Hamlet Main Street, the other ones were?
Yeah.
What did you say?
20.
Hamlet,
Yeah, I'm just having Eddie check what
Square feet.
is that in acres?
Less than that, and they.
Ah, so no. All right. They were like, oh, put these ones in as their own, but we didn't.
Is the property before us, rural also?
No, it ain't.
Yeah, or it ends at Rodriguez. Rodriguez is And where any was,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
That's Salem Main Street.
that's on like.
Yeah.
why,
I think because the number of businesses was the thinking, because of Dougie, and then the empty lots across the
Yeah.
street, they might become businesses, you know,
Yeah.
and that was, I believe, the thinking there. But to be honest, we didn't, that was suggested by a consultant, and we were just like, okay, yeah, sounds good, and we were just concentrating on creating that.
It's 7.
Okay, so, with that first, let's, the minutes. Now, the minutes, we need to edit them. As we discovered tonight.
Do like see attack.
Okay, so with
Not usually.
Ethan's
I didn't.
additions and that addition, can I have approval of the April? So moved. Second. All in favor? All opposed? One thing, and it's gonna come out, we're gonna get that out, I think it went out to the town board, but we're gonna get out in a notice to the public. We have the NYSERDA guy coming for June 4th for the zoning review committee, to talk about the solar stuff. And we will record that and present, put it on YouTube, you know, it's awesome. 5 o'clock
when is
so-
that?
5 o'clock on June 4th. But it'll be recorded and he's gonna give a presentation. Ian Latimer.
At what time?
5. So next, okay. Everyone, good job, Vicky, you go into a class, everyone work on their classes, we're about halfway through the year.
Is it obviously like Steve? But we also went. To see the Red Hook.
Oh.
Thing,
Mm-hmm. You want the presentation there, you just want to see?
they gave a tour.
Oh, yeah.
and Rock Coast Road and who else? Bunch of people. Scenic Hudson, Judge's Concerns.
I sent that, made that form up or just write it as a non-standard class, you know, and write it in.
And
Uh,
then there was a reception at Rose Hill.
Ah.
I thought of that, but I was wondering, did you see Chris Pilarchi?
I guess I'll have to get home from cheap God.
all right, so with that, we're gonna have a short.
Short executive
Yes.
session, I'll give you an update on
Right.
this. So,
All right, so what I would like, we're not gonna be doing any more business afterwards, so can I have, hold on. What's up, we have something?
Feather flag at the car wash. Do you ever get to talk to the car wash owners?
I should have moved out of it. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
did they? I went walking
I didn't see
today.
it.
I didn't even pay attention.
I saw it the other day.
Thank you.
Leslie put it back up, but they, like, when I went by.
I'll double check when I drive, but
Oh, Vicky has something.
Do we know what's going on with the old Patchen House, the hole in town that's,
The Patchen House, they're working on,
I'm sorry.
the Patchen House across from the brown bag,
Crossing down.
brown bag, the hole in the ground and the house they're working in the back. Have you talked to them? Or-
I spoke to them one time and they were supposed to come into the CO, they haven't done that. And you brought me up to date that they're supposed to build a building in the front.
They're supposed to replace it if they're
Yeah.
tear it down, or technically how we wrote the resolution, or that house in the back becomes the primary residence. Then they're gonna have to come to us to. But they promised they were gonna rebuild it if they had to tear it down, right? They said that the foundation might,
no,
yeah, that's how we wrote the resolutions. Because
so there won't be another house there.
there might be, well, we can't force them. I don't know, I mean, what can we like, even Warren just left the room, so like, I don't think you could force someone to build a house.
We
You can
even
force-
said that when he was
Yeah, they said,
talking about putting that up,
yeah,
about what if he tore it down, at that point, he wasn't even sure he was gonna tear it
right, they
down.
weren't.
Yeah,
And he said, yes, he was gonna rebuild there.
He said, yes, we intend to rebuild, but.
But our
What-
code says,
Okay,
I mean, I know them.
it'd be,
we'll talk to the building inspector.
and it'd be great if they just send us a letter, like an update, what's going on, being, if you. happen to talk to them, just we'd appreciate a letter. Just, it's been several years now. The window they had given us at the time was like 2.
So that should never have been approved as a dwelling, a secondary dwelling in the back.
Cat's out of the bag.
Why is that? But that's what
I mean,
we
yeah.
said at the time.
So was that his plan from the beginning, not to just tear it down? And now we have a house that sets way back, does not meet the standards of Main
I
Street?
mean, Stan said he is putting a house
Yeah.
back up.
But if it would be great if they could send us a letter to, or, let us know what's going on. It's been a while. If you happen to talk. Otherwise, Eddie, if you can reach out again, just if we can have an update letter. To know what the intentions are, what's going on. But that's the only enforcement that we have in our power. We can't say you have to build a house there now. I don't think that's where we can, right, Steve?
No, I
If
agree. I
specific
don't know.
performance to make somebody do something.
We
But
gave them approval to build the auxiliary
house,
structure
right,
based off that there would be a building
Right.
there. Is that what you're
Right,
saying?
Yeah.
right, and because,
And the resolution said that, however, if you do tear down the house,
did that.
the other house becomes, within the X number of, like 2 years, the other house becomes a primary residence.
Obviously, you can't force them to build it.
Right.
I don't think we can. Warren, so when we did this application, what we're talking about is when we had on Church Street. It was one of the ones where they had a house that was derelict. They weren't sure if it was savable. They wanted to put accessory dwelling in the back,
Right.
live there or whatever, then work on repairing or tearing down and replacing the other house.
Right.
It's been like almost 4 years now, and they tore down the original. They're about finishing up building the accessory dwelling. But they tore down the other one, because they told us at the time they weren't sure they could save it.
Right.
But they intended to rebuild it if they do tear it down. There's no way we could have written something to force them to rebuild something, correct? Like, that's not something
I guess we could have.
we could have.
Should just.
Yeah, why don't you do you have a copy of the resolution?
We can pull it up, but I believe, if my memory,
Let me look at it again.
what we were saying at the time when people asked us, this is during COVID, people wanted to come up and build accessory dwellings and then build a real house or whatever, that we said that if you did not build it within a couple of years, then the other house becomes the primary residence.
I can't. I don't think we did.
So that's the primary residence.
Well, we'll look at the resolution.
I'll also have a look at the resolution. That was problematic.
There goes the whole Main Street effect. They're supposed to be built in the, so many
But-
feet.
So could we have put something in that resolution that said what does it say? Like, okay, if you tear down this house, you have to rebuild it, or like what kind of, you can make them specifically perform that, like.
Well, I don't know if we can make them rebuild it, but we could somehow address it by other conditions. I'd have to look at it, but it's
Okay.
too late to do.
Front yard setbacks.
Well,
But I think
They have to go to the zoning board of appeals.
Excuse me. I think that was the concern when we were dealing.
Yeah.
We were worried.
remember.
They assured us and they told us, no, we're renovators.
Yeah.
We're deleted.
Wow.
Finding it.
Yeah.
So then that just allows, like if Dougie was to tear this down and,
But we didn't approve another building.
no, but I'm just saying, if he used this other building as an accessory building. And then, left the hole there, and then 4 years from now, there's nothing there, then we're in the same boat.
Alright, it says, whereas the site plan as amended proposes the creation of a new accessory building cottage to the rear of the main house on the property consisting of approximately 1,250 square feet, together with a pool and other accessory. That provides in relevant part that the principal dwelling on a lot in which an accessory dwelling is proposed to be located be owner occupied for the duration of the special use permit. And whereas the applicants have requested that the planning board grant a waiver of the requirement of the principal dwelling on a lot be owner occupied for the duration of the special use permit. Whereas the applicants have advised the planning board that the principal dwelling at this subject property has not been inhabited for many years and is currently unsuitable for occupancy. The applicants have represented to the planning board that it is their intention to live in the accessory building when complete. Almost getting there.
Yeah, no, that's relevant. Keep
And
reading.
It is.
The renovation residents on the property and the applicants have amplified their waiver request to indicate that they are seeking a waiver of the requirement that the principal residence be owner occupied, but that it is their intention to reside in either accessory dwelling unit or principal dwelling for the duration of the special permit. Whereas a public hearing on the application was opened on June 7th, 2021. The site plan application has been reviewed by the planning board and engineer. I don't know.
So that's it. That's the only language addressing that.
It just keeps saying that either the principal or accessory dwelling shall be owner occupied during the.
Do they have? any
They're
intention
inferring that
of,
there's two there.
Of building rebuilding the principal,
What's that one?
do they have any intention of
Well,
rebuilding?
at the time they told us they did. It's just taken a long time. They still have that intention? We're trying to determine that.
We believe that they do, based on an email from them recently. But that's not official, that's
Right.
just between the trustees.
Understood.
I know.
So, yeah, so we'd like.
This brings up a greater issue that I've had problems with, is a timeline.
Yeah.
Like, there was a gentleman who owns a trailer on Carpenter Hill. He hasn't done anything with it. We approved him to change the trailer out 2 years ago. It looks like he's anticipating to change it out now. Is that not void after 1 year from the site plan or special use permit approval?
Yeah, there's a certain period of time after the special use permit approval, site plan approval, you have to do the construction.
Usually there's a
Say
sunset
a
clause.
year, is it a year and a half? or-
So things like,
Yeah.
things like this, would it not behoove us to put into the resolutions an end date for the applications to say it has to be completed by this date? Or you have to come back to well, that's a heady
No, literally, how would you
Yeah,
enforce it?
we learned a lesson on this one.
And then if you don't complete it by that date,
concern.
come back to the planning board.
I'll take another look at it though, the entire resolution.
Well, speaking of time things, what about the preschool?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a county?
Give that a few more months.
What about what?
Dan.
Oh, the preschool.
Good point.
Thought she,
It's called-
the daycare, sorry, daycare.
Yeah, flash. Wait, what are you doing? What year is it?
Oh, my God.
But wasn't there a time frame for the county?
The
And
state.
for the state?
Department of Education.
Yes.
Didn't get a.
Well, I haven't even seen the bakery open in a while, right? Hey, you haven't heard from her, right?
No.
But I mean, it's not like she's doing something else. So she hasn't done anything.
If she doesn't do it, she doesn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, time period expires and she'll have to come back.
Yeah.
And that's in our code, the 1 year?
Yeah, there is a
Yeah.
time period.
1 year.
Site plan.
So we'll have to.
I think it's a
put
year.
alert in the calendar, say.
Each town. has to-
Now, see,
Yeah,
reminder.
But what you're supposed to do is come back to the board for an extension of that.
Right.
That's what-
Before it runs out.
yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
that's right.
All right. So I mean, maybe we have to be better about that, but who's? One of you two guys would have to be, Eddie or Trisha have to be on that, like there's an application, and there would have to be communication, because Trisha then you would have to let her know, like this application still has not received and it's coming up with the
Calendar.
yeah.
Well, you know, the approval date, it's stamped on.
Right, but Trisha won't know, like to send the letters,
Well,
or
it's
she,
not her job to do that.
right,
Absolutely.
so it'd be it,
The applicant's job.
to do what?
If they let their permit expire, they let.
No,
Put a check.
we don't, how do we know that it's expired and nothing has happened?
My point is that we don't care. It's like your registration going out in your car. The state is not obligated to tell you your registration's out.
They'll tell you eventually.
Well, the state trooper, I'll tell you. But what I'm saying is like, if I have a, you know, an approval, it's my job to keep my approval. It's my job to say, hey, this is gonna run out. I better get in front of the planning board and ask for an extension.
Right, so
Not
then-
show up 6 months later and say, I want an extension. That's not an extension anymore.
Well, that is-
That's a new application.
But for better tracking of enforcement.
that there's no approval on this address anymore because of the time.
Don't you date it when you sign it?
Right, but so then that's Ed, so then if Eddie sees
So
something
if someone's going
happening,
to get a permit, pulls out the approved plan and there's a date on it, and he has to say, sorry,
But for.
you're at 14 months, not 12.
Okay, so that happens if somebody does do anything, then they come back and they've missed their date. But
Right.
in this instance, it's just that nothing has happened.
But if they pull the permit, if they keep their building permit open, technically they're in compliance.
What approvals did we give? Did we give special use permit and site plan approval for that? What we,
You know what I'm saying? So we issue the permit, the
Is that
site plan
special use?
approval, special use permit, building department issues a building permit,
We
they
let
start
them
doing the
live in
construction.
Hmm?
That building permit also times out. They have to come back and renew that. If they're in the midst of construction, however slow that may be, and they're keeping their building permit current, they don't lose their site. plan.
What if they didn't keep the current? They might not have.
Then they have problems.
Yeah.
Have to start all over.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that's not the
That's different.
town's job to be the, you know, the nanny of everybody.
Yeah, it was a
in front of us.
special use permit
I get
and
you,
yeah.
site plan.
I mean,
So-
It's site plan. So
You
that,
know what I mean? Who's responsible?
that may have expired.
Not the town.
Sorry,
That is what on this page.
it's just, I hate
It's
it.
Expired around
And
Planning.
I just don't think he's ever.
the Delta
They would
area.
have back to the planning board and ask for their
You
permit.
can't issue a building permit.
That's what I'm saying. They'd have to come back, get
So
their
how
permit
long-
again, and then
how
get
long
their building
does the
permit again.
Special use permit last.
1 year.
It's the only legal
About that.
method to do it.
Guess
That's
they're
why you
done.
do it. You know, you keep those things current when you got them open.
All right, well, that's, I guess, something
Right.
to work on and
They may have a
maybe coordinate, what's that? Um. All right, so. With that, anyone else have anything? else?
No, no.
I do, just wait till I.
Most do we even think?
What I would,
Talking right.
what I would like is
Sloppy.
a motion to, go into executive session in order to discuss the Article 78 action against the town. We are going to invite just the town board members that are present, if they wish, Kevin and Janine. Warren, we don't need Eddie for this, right?
No,
No, we need George.
only if he wants to stay.
Well, we'll invite George. Scott, where are you going?
Motion to make a motion.
And the attorney, our attorney Warren, into executive session, returning client session. And then we will not be doing any business and then come back and adjourn the meeting after.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, so we're going into executive sessions. Yes.
Need some-
Yes, you.